In the previous chapter, we needed one point on a curve and another point moving closer and closer to it. That small phrase, closer and closer, is the beginning of limits. But today, we will not memorize the symbol first. We will understand why limits are needed. Sometimes direct substitution works, but sometimes the exact point breaks, disappears, jumps, oscillates, or grows without bound. A limit lets mathematics understand what the nearby values are approaching, even when the exact point is not enough. Let us ask the honest beginner question. If the function is f of x equals 2x plus 1 and x approaches 1, why not just put x equal to 1? For this smooth graph, that works. We get 3. But this is only the easiest case. Now compare it with a missing point. The graph may approach height 2, even though the value at input 1 is missing. Now compare it with 0 divided by 0. Direct substitution fails, but nearby values may still approach a clear number. Now compare it with a jump. The left side and the right side approach different heights. So the two-sided limit does not exist. This is why limits are needed. They answer a deeper question. Where are the nearby values heading? Let us zoom near the input 1. From the left side, the inputs are smaller than 1. 0.9 is close. 0.99 is closer. 0.999 is even closer. So the input approaches 1 from the left. We write x approaches 1 with a small minus sign. That minus sign means from smaller inputs. Now from the right side, the inputs are greater than 1. 1.1 is close. 1.01 is closer. 1.001 is even closer. We write x approaches 1 with a small plus sign. That plus sign means from larger inputs. Now we connect input and output. The function is f of x equals 2x plus 1. From the left side, input 0.9 gives output 2.8. Then input 0.99 gives output 2.98. Then input 0.999 gives output 2.998. The output is moving closer to 3. From the right side, input 1.1 gives output 3.2. Then input 1.01 gives output 3.02. Then input 1.001 gives output 3.002. Again, the output is moving closer to 3. So input approaches 1 and output approaches 3. Now separate two ideas. The function value asks what happens exactly at the input. The limiting value asks where the nearby outputs are heading. For a smooth graph, these two answers match. At input 1, the function value is 3, and as input approaches 1, the limiting value is also 3, but the two ideas are not always the same. That is why we study limits separately. Now look at a hole. The graph approaches the point 1, 2, but the point itself is missing. If you ask for the function value at input 1, there is no value. But if you ask where the nearby outputs are heading, the answer is clear. They are heading toward 2. So the function value is missing, but the limit exists. Now look at 0 divided by 0. For x squared minus 1 divided by x minus 1, direct substitution at 1 gives 0 over 0. That expression does not give a value at the exact point. But when x is near 1, the expression behaves like x plus 1, and x plus 1 approaches 2. So the exact point is broken, but the nearby behavior still has meaning. The limit captures that meaning. Now look at a jump. From the left side, the graph approaches height 2. From the right side, the graph approaches height 5. The two sides disagree. There is no single height that both sides approach. So the two-sided limit does not exist. A limit needs one approaching value, not two competing answers. A limit can also fail by oscillation. Even as the input gets closer and closer to the target, the output keeps moving up and down. It does not settle near one height, so the input approaches the target, but the output does not approach one clear value. That means the limit does not exist. Sometimes the function does not approach a finite number. Near a vertical line, the graph may shoot upward. The outputs grow larger and larger. This is unbounded behavior. Again, the important question is not only what happens exactly at the input. The deeper question is, what happens near the input? Now return to calculus. Average rate of change uses 2 points. Instantaneous rate of change needs 1 point. If we force the 2 points to become equal too early, the change in x becomes 0, and the change in y also becomes 0. That creates 0 divided by 0. So we let 1 point approach the other. Then we ask what the slope approaches. That approaching slope is the beginning of the derivative. Let us correct 3 common mistakes. Mistake 1, thinking the limit is always the function value. Correction. The limit asks where nearby outputs are heading. The function value asks what happens exactly at the input. Mistake 2, checking only one side. Correction. A two-sided limit needs left and right agreement. Mistake 3, thinking approaching means equal. Correction. Approaching means getting closer and closer. The exact point may still be missing or different. Let us summarize visually. Direct substitution works when the graph is smooth and unbroken. A hole can still have a limit because nearby outputs approach one height. 0 divided by 0 may still have meaningful nearby behavior. A jump has no two-sided limit because left and right disagree. Oscillation has no limit because outputs do not settle. Unbounded behavior does not approach a finite number. And derivatives need limits because instantaneous change is built from an approaching process. Next, this leads us to continuity.